This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. Anjanette Young was just arriving home from work, and as she was changing, like everybody do when they come home from work, the police kicked her door in, looking for someone who's in the same complex and wearing a police tracking device. The sister was totally nude and humiliated, and she also told the police 43 times that they were in the wrong apartment. She told them what her name was, and she told them that they were in the wrong apartment. After ravaging through her belongings and ramshacking her apartment, the sarcastic bastard said, "We believe your story," after over an hour of being in her apartment. Check out this footage.
We want to turn now to a disturbing story. Police officers raiding the wrong home and handcuffing an innocent woman. It was first reported by Dave Savini of our CBS Chicago station, WBBM, and contains graphic video that the city did not want anyone to see.
I had just gotten home from work, and while I was undressing,
Anjanette Young, a social worker, had just finished her shift at the hospital when 12 Chicago police officers raided her home.
And it happened so fast, I didn't have time to put on clothes.
She was completely naked, surrounded by all male officers.
And I'm just standing there. I mean, terrified, humiliated.
Young was handcuffed as the officers searched her home.
If I had made one wrong move, I felt like they would have shot me.
One police officer wraps a short coat around her shoulder, still leaving her front fully exposed. Young tells the raid team at least 43 times they are in the wrong place.
You got the wrong house! You got the wrong house!
WBBM's investigation uncovered police got it wrong because they took the word of an informant who said a felon with a handgun lived in the apartment.
Nobody lives here but me! Okay. You have to shout. I don't have to shout! This is ridiculous!
So where was the target? Our investigation revealed he was awaiting trial on home confinement here at a different apartment in Anjanette Young's complex. How easy would it have been to locate him? Easy, real easy, because he was wearing a police tracking device. Police did eventually walk Young to a room so she could get dressed. It took more than 20 minutes for the officers to say this:
"We believe your story."
Nearly 2 years after the ordeal, Young says she still hasn't been told if any of the officers involved have been disciplined.
They need to do the work, but they need to do it right.
Now, the city law department went to court to try to block our station from airing this video, but that judge ruled against them. Now, tonight, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot publicly apologized to Ms. Young and said she was appalled at what she saw and is recommending that the city settle that case. Ms. Young says what she wants is accountability, Nora.
Incredibly appalling. Dave Savini, thank you very much.
The police in Chicago raided the wrong home several times, failing to use their body cameras by just simply turning them off and not wearing them at all. Mike Guzman, Joe Capello, and Sergeant Russell Egan pointed guns in the face of children, handcuffed the children's father, and frightened basically the hell out the children. They got the wrong man in the wrong apartment, which is most case scenario. I would be here all day just talking about Chicago alone. Police in Chicago also busted in the wrong home during a child's birthday party and frightened the children, pointing guns. Now, all an innocent child can remember about her birthday at her birthday party is cops waving guns, pointing guns in their face. when the mother of the child, Katana Jackson, asked the police who they were and what are you doing at my house, they told her to shut the F up. Now, they are being disrespectful while being in the wrong apartment altogether. Now, this should be a civil rights violation, and everybody entered that apartment should be actually fired and brought up on charges. Now, the superintendent of Chicago PD, Eddie Johnson, did nothing but cosplain and tiptoed through the tulips when it was his people that was being targeted. This is a pandemic when it comes to black people. Police kicking in the wrong door, and sometimes they actually kill people. Now, Metro Police raided the home in Nashville of a family who were living in the apartment for only 4 months. The woman on the other side of the door, as they started tearing the door off the hinges after they, like immediately after they announced themselves, they just started tearing the door down. And the chief said that there was no urgency in that call, so why they went to the woman's house like that, it's beyond me. And Azara Hines lived in an apartment with her 2 children. Again, they went in pointing guns, yelling and screaming in the presence of children. And I know that they wouldn't do this in front of white children. They just go in, kicking doors, not caring who's on the other side, children in there pointing guns to children's heads and frightening them, and it could affect them for the rest of their lives. And if they had any respect for police, they just lost it by doing that. What's good about this is all of those officers were fired. And they did a raid in Sacramento, California. They raided the wrong home again, looking for someone who stole a car. They kicked in the door, they batter-rammed the door, and a pregnant woman who was 7 months pregnant came to the door and was like, "Why are you at my house?" And they threw her to the ground. A 7-month pregnant woman threw her to the ground, being at the wrong home. And they locked up an older brother, but he was the wrong man. Now, these type of mistakes are unnecessary and preventable. All you have to do is check your information and make sure you have the correct information before you go into the apartment or the home. Now, Detroit Metro Police was filming an episode of The First 48. And they were in pursuit of a murder suspect. Of course, you know, First 48 deals with murders. They were looking for a murder suspect, but again, as the incompetent bastards they are, they went into the wrong home looking for the suspect. And as they were going into the wrong home, they threw in flashbangs. So it was an elderly woman in the home and a 7-year-old by the name of Ayanna Jones. Now, Officer Weekly, a overzealous pig, walked into the room, the elderly woman's room, And as soon as he walked in here, in the room, he shot Aiyana Jones, 7-year-old Aiyana Jones, in the head, killing her. And to add insult to injury, he could have done a lot of prison time. He stood there, wouldn't even look the elderly woman in her face as she was like crying hysterically, asking him why did he come in her house like that? She has a granddaughter and he murdered her. He wouldn't even look her in her face. That's an insult. But the biggest insult is when a Negro judge who could have thrown the book at him let him walk with no prison time. Nothing happened to him. These Negro judges should be ashamed of themselves. The only judge I can rock with is Olu Stevens, the brother who let the brother go, Kenneth Walker, when he shot the cop for breaking into Breonna Taylor's home. They thought they were being a victim of a home invasion. That's why the brother shot at the door. And they opened fire 8 times, killing Breonna Taylor, our sister. And they was at the wrong apartment then, because the person they were looking for was already in custody, but they want to dirty her name up, dirty his name up, try to do all this wicked, crooked shit that they do. Pardon my French, because I don't usually curse, but they did all that crooked stuff that they do, trying to tarnish the name of the sister and the brother when they were wrong. There's no oops when it comes to human life, but they killed that sister and they're trying to get away with it. And Daniel Cameron, the super coon, is siding with the police officer. Yet when they walk into a courthouse, when it's you, when it's I, what do they say when they read the charges? The people versus whoever. That means that the prosecution is supposed to work for the people, not law enforcement. Now, if law enforcement bring you a case that's legit, they're the people too. But if law enforcement break the law, it's us against them. That's how it should be. But that's not how it is. That's why nobody trusts law enforcement. Nobody. Rightfully so. Now, this is just not even scratching the surface of police raids that were botched all over this country. And a lot of people were murdered in police raids. Now, I'm going to come to my city. A police raid in my city happened not too long ago. And the detective with the warrant said that he was the first person in with the warrant because they didn't announce themselves. They did a no-knock warrant. They didn't announce themselves. They just went into the people's home, kicked their door in, and did whatever they did. But the detective with the warrant lied. The one with the warrant's supposed to be the first one in, but he was the last one in. They didn't think that the people whose door they was kicking in had surveillance cameras. And they took the footage to court. And the prosecution and the judge had no choice but to throw the case out. Dismissed the whole case and reprimanded the cop. The cop should be fired for lying like that. They'll lie in a heartbeat. They'll lie about the law. Most of them don't even know the law. They'll lie, try to manipulate you into doing something for them, manipulate you to cross you up, to get you caught up, to jam you up. If there's nothing to do, sit in that damn patrol car until you get dispatched to a call. Only if you see something, you should do something. They tell us if we see something, say something. If you see something, do something. If not, keep your ass in the patrol car and stop being a damn troublemaker. As far as I'm concerned, that's what the police are. Mind you, they got their start by catching slaves. And to the sellout black cops, not all of them, they know who they are. The one who wear coon verses and wash their face in all of coon may. You're not our brother. You'll never be our brother. And remember, you cannot retire from being a coon. If you're going to be a coon, is you're going to change that when it's inconvenient for you, or we don't want you when you retire. So don't come to us then. Make a difference and take a stand when you are a police officer. This is The Enemy's Public, and I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.